what do you define as a good woman? If you were to ask me, Tristan, how do you make a good coffee? I'd say 3 scoops black. But you might like cappuccinos. He might like pumpkin spice lattes or something gay. What exactly defines a good woman? What do you want from her? What do you want to do with her? You want a woman who's fun? You want a woman who you're going to start a family with? You want a woman who's not going to gold dig or hustle you? I don't know what you want. So I can only give my version of the answer.
What do you look for in a woman then? What is a good woman to you?
Well, for lots of years of my life, over the years of my life, the definition has certainly changed. When I was 23, a good woman was any woman who was 10 out of 10. Personality, overlooked all of it. Didn't really care, because at that point I was building my business. I was trying to kickbox. I wasn't interested in, having kids or a future or this kind of thing. But I think
it was more of a playboy.
Yeah, exactly. I was. And I've spent my whole life, I guess, meeting all sorts of various women. And that, I think, gives me the edge to be able to tell who's a good woman and who's not. But what I would say, the number one factor you want in a woman is honesty. Honesty in everybody is the most important thing that you can possibly look for. I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Let's say you meet 2 women. One of them has let me try and formulate this example in my head. Okay. One of them has a body count of 9. Okay. She's 25. That's not super high, but it's not low either. Okay, I've got a body count of 9, I'm 25, and this woman approaches you and she talks to you, right? And you meet another girl, and she tells you her body count is 8, but it's actually 4. You're better off with the woman who actually has the body count of 9. Because if the other woman will lie about that, what else is she lying about? And also, how do you know it's really 4? Once someone has displayed to you that they don't want to be honest, or that they're willing to package themselves as something that they're not in order to get in your good books, that is the ultimate red flag. Ultimate red flag above anything else. If a girl says, hey, my body count's 4, I used to be a stripper when I was in university, I was trying to make money, blah, 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 and you take her at face value, then that's at least someone that you could associate with and you could talk to. Whereas if a girl's body count was really 1, and she used to be a stripper too, but never tells you, and you find out some other way.
Later on down the line.
That's a worse woman. Honesty is what you need from women. And I think that the key to finding a good woman is having a good bullshit detector. And my bullshit detector is like none other. I cannot be lied to. So sometimes I'll have a new girlfriend, dating a new woman, and then people will say like, oh, she's only with you for the money. I'm like, brother, I'd know if she was. I'd know if she was with me for the money. I'd know if she was with me because I'm rich, because I meet women like that all the time who are trying to get with me because I'm rich. And I know she's different. So yeah, you just want to up your bullshit detector. There are lots of ways you can catch people lying nowadays, but look at any sign of dishonesty or any sign of trying to come across as something that you're not as the ultimate red flag. Because if you discover one bad thing about her, she said her body count was 4, but and she, who her exes were, for example. But then there's a 5th one. He said he used to date her, and she's like, okay, I lied. It's 5. It's not 5. It's 50. You just haven't found them all. Honesty
Still got more to unlock.
Honesty above everything else.
But at the same time, would you say, how do I word this right? A man's biggest downfall can also be a woman, in a sense that, say a man's trying to build his empire, and now a woman comes along and locks him down, and now he's not even bothered about building that empire. 100%. Would you say a woman could also play a big part in a man's success?
100%. But just like with, a kid or a woman or a certain amount of success, if that has the ability to put out your fire, then you're not built for it. You're not built for it. Because I've met women all across my journey and my ascension to where I am today, who would have loved me to just stop working so much and hang out with them all the time and watch Netflix and maybe marry them. What's sad is, and I get called misogynistic all the time, so I'll say something quite misogynistic. What's sad is, a woman will happily put out your fire. And the same type of woman that will put out your fire to make sure that you no longer work so much and you're not as ambitious, sometimes doesn't realize that that's what she liked about you in the first place. Let's say I met a woman now. Let's say. She's obviously attracted to the fact that I'm super ambitious, that I train super hard, that I wake up at 7 every morning, that I'm constantly trying to learn something and better myself. Now I'm taking Russian lessons, but whatever it is, I'm constantly trying to improve who I am. Women will find that incredibly attractive and still get with me and try to put the fire out and try to stop me from doing those things. And you know what would happen if I became fat, stopped learning, stopped making so much money, became boring, just stayed at home with her all the time? She'd probably end up cheating on me, because that's just the nature of people. So yeah, if you let that happen to you, it's your fault. There's nothing I can say to people who, will meet a woman and quit the quest for greatness. Maybe your quest is just to be with your average chick and be an average man and have your average income and have your average family. and let them work in the car washes. I'll drive past in my Bugatti. It's fine by me. and there's nothing you can do to drag these people up. I try my best to say things like this and let people listen to me. But, you know, when I get those super chats online, hey man, I just broke up with my girl after 8 years. I haven't been working on myself because I was so comfortable with her, and now I'm 41. I'm like, bro, it's over.
Yeah, move on.
Your mistake.
Yeah.
It's over.
What goes around comes around. You want to be a little jerk? People are going to treat you like, oh, there's one tip. There's one tip that overrules absolutely everything. People can see it as two men competing against each other, or you can see it as two men within the same house getting stronger and pushing each other to become stronger.
If you can't motivate yourself to do it, you know, fuck you. Sorry, it's the way I feel.
90% of the time, or 99% of the time, women have decided whether they're going to have sex with you before the date. They really have.
Maybe they just want the working class to stay the working class. Maybe they don't want people like him opening his mouth. I think he's dangerous to what people want to purport on the society. People don't see the work. I mean, me and Andrew, we're in good shape. I don't post training videos and, you know, fitness progress videos. I just do the work and let the results speak for itself. In terms of money and in terms of business and success, that's Andrew. Everyone's like, oh, well, how does he have all this money? Maybe he's a criminal, you know? So how does he have all this money? I know why he has all this money. Because he's sitting right there at that desk at least 10 hours a day, even when we're not on house arrest. He'll be out in the evenings having his fun. And that's what we'll show to the world. This whole, hey, look at me, I'm at my laptop and I'm going to grind away for 6 hours. Like, that's, no one wants to see that on Instagram. No one wants to see that on social media. It's boring. They want to see you driving the Bugatti with a cigar in your mouth and a beautiful girl next to you. But that doesn't come without sitting at that desk for a good while first.
I said this to one kid. I said, you shouldn't waste your time playing video games. And he hit me with this stupid response. He went, PewDiePie plays video games. He makes hundreds of millions of dollars. I said, PewDiePie is not a video game player.
He's a skill.
PewDiePie is a presenter. He is a presenter. He's an entertainer. He's charismatic. He's smart. He's sharp. He's funny. He's a comedian. You can play video games just as well as him, and you will be poor forever. It's not about his video game playing ability. It's about how he markets himself. So yeah, self-marketing is his talent. Yeah. More than anything else.
Well, yeah, it's the old saying of, you know, you become the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. That's older than the internet. That saying it predates the internet. But essentially it means the 5 people who influence you the most. And, you know, if you do live alone, or if you don't have many friends, or you don't have a big group of people, what you're watching and what you're listening to influences you massively. So yeah, cut the crap out. Exactly the same with a healthy diet. It influences your health. A healthy mind is exactly the same thing. Scrolling up and down Netflix, watching trash all day is not going to get you anywhere in life, literally, ever. Whereas, you know, you might hear a piece of advice in a podcast, in this podcast, that, you know, makes you wake up and think, you know what, I actually need to get my shit in order. So yeah, be careful what influences you.
Let me tell you a good story about being kind to waiters and bartenders, especially in the city that you live in. It's an investment. Yeah. It's an investment to throw money around. I do it here in Dubai because I spend a lot of time here. I certainly do it in Bucharest. I was on a date with a Romanian celebrity. I'm not going to name drop her here, but famous girl, a few million followers on Instagram, etc. And the lights had gone out in the garden of one of the fanciest restaurants in town. So obviously being one of the fanciest restaurants in town, they put a bunch of candles on every table. So I was sitting there as the waiter was pouring our champagne. I said to the girl, I said, you know what, I specially organized this. I called my friends at the electricity company. I had them shut down the power grid just so we could have candles tonight. And she goes, hi, all right, Tristan, yeah, where's my flowers? As a blasé comment, because she knew I was joking. She knew I was bullshitting. The waiter, good friend of mine, had been pouring the champagne, overheard this. No joke, 2 minutes later, he comes over with the biggest bouquet of flowers he must have taken from behind the restaurant. Mr. Tate, here are the flowers you ordered. And I sat there, straight face, ice cold, sip my champagne. 10 minutes later, I was like, you'll have to excuse me, I get up. I was just like, my man! I was like, no way! Did you just do that? So, and why? Why? Because I'm rude to waiters? Because I didn't get to know his name? Right. I've been eating at that restaurant for 2 years before that. I throw money around, I tip well. He knew exactly who I was. So, you know, being kind to people pays dividends. Not only is it, do women notice it, because they really do. Yeah. But, you know, the staff notice it and they treat you better. And being treated with respect around women is a huge turn on for women. Mr. Tate, how are you? Oh, let me just clear this parking spot. Sorry, we have no tables. Let me just put one out for you. Right. That's a huge turn on for women. And, you know, you get that respect by being kind.
What advice would you give to people who are just like chronic procrastinators?
Oh,
they're just not taking action.
Yeah, the advice is very simple. I have the perfect piece of advice for them. It's have fun staying poor. Have fun staying poor. You're never going to make it. I don't care. Because if you can't look at your Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should get into shape. If you can't look at my Instagram and think, you know what, maybe I should make some money. And you literally, with all the inspiration shoved in your face nowadays, I mean, you were sitting in this luxury apartment in Dubai overlooking the ocean. Like, this is what we do. If you can't watch people like us, if you're watching this podcast and think I need to do something and you're a procrastinator, good. I don't care. Have fun staying broke. Because like you said, I need someone to wash my cars. I need people like you. So not everyone can make it to the top, and there's no help for those people who can't motivate themselves. If you can't pay your bills, it's hard to pay your rent, you're eating the crappiest food, you're driving the crappiest car, all the beautiful women in the world don't look at you, you can't afford any nice clothing, and you're sitting around thinking, oh, well, just a few more hours playing Fortnite, then that's your station in life, and enjoy it.
Maybe what are some strengths and things he does that the rest of the world doesn't see that you know?
Andrew is the hardest working man I've ever met. Even with the lifestyle he lives now, and as fun as it looks, and it is fun, and all the fun shit we do is real. Even if we are in a luxury hotel in the south of France where you're paying $10,000 per room, Andrew will be up at 7 o'clock in that hotel gym. He'll message me at 8:30. I have to wake up next to God knows who. Whiskey spilled all over the desk. But again, that inspires me. And he'll be like, emergency meeting in my room. Emergency meeting, he always say that. So I'll go to his room and say, what's the emergency? And he'll bring up tiny issues with the business that, I could have slept on quite happily. But again, it's like me doing the exercise when he won't. It pushes me to be a better person. And Andrew will happily work 15, 16 hours a day and then go out and spend 4 or 5 hours having fun and blowing loads of money. It doesn't come from the sky. It's not magic. We're not trust fund kids. We didn't win the lottery. He is the hardest working man I have ever met. And the fact that I can even live with him and try to keep up is a testament to me, because it's difficult,
Exactly. So you have to make life hard for yourself, because no one else is going to do it. No one else. I'm certainly not going to come into your room at 7:30 and kick your door down and say, I don't know what your name is, Steven from Los Angeles, it's time to get your life in order. Let's get up. Let's hit the gym. You're not going to, I don't care about you. No one cares about you that much. You should care about yourself that much. And in which case you can't let women make you feel too comfortable, because it's not something they do on purpose to stop us, but I feel like it's a woman's natural instinct to want as much of your energy as possible.
Yeah.
And she's happiest when she gets the most energy from you as possible. A woman wants nothing more than you to be at home with her all day long, talking to her all day long, watching movies with her all day long, and have sex with her 5 times a day. That's a woman's dream. And you know what? By all means, do that once you have $100 million. But don't do it now.
Well, you just have to understand that in life you can't do it alone. And you have to form some sort of team if you're going to get anywhere. You have to have good men around you and good friends around you. Every king had generals. Every soldier had the soldier to his left and right. Every single person who's won any great battle or any great victory or any great moral victory didn't do it by himself. He had other people with him. So if you're born with a man and you have exactly the same blood, exactly the same interests, the same last name, you have to be fighting for the exact same things. You can go your separate ways if you like. If you really hate your brother, if you really hate members of your family, I understand. But I don't see who else there was in life, especially many years ago when I didn't know anyone to team up with. So we've just always been a team. And we've never even thought about it, never planned it. It just naturally happened. I think that's what God made brothers for.
If a girl offers to split the bill, which they don't, but if a girl does offer to split the bill, it means I see you as my friend. This is not a date.
Right.
So if a woman ever says, hey, can I pay for half the drinks, that means, Tristan, I'm not interested. I only see you as a friend.
It's a defense mechanism, I'd say.
So you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just friends. That's what you're trying to signal.
You're putting yourself in the friend zone.
By telling her to split the bill with you, which is stupid. It's very stupid. And let's be honest, not a lot of guys go to the places I go. What's splitting the bill? $30, $40?
Right.
And you're seriously going to try and impress me with this bullshit? I made her split the bill. Yeah, right. I guarantee you didn't do anything else with her that night.
I ran a business with my brother that failed before I was 21 years old. That qualified me more to run a successful business than anyone who from age 18 to 23 studied business at university for 5 years and got a master's in business. Me, having run my one failed company, was more qualified to run a successful company after that than they were, because the person who they learned from at university doesn't run successful companies. It's just a bunch of book learning. It's a bunch of theory that isn't really applicable to real business, in my opinion.
You know, when you're a high net worth individual, the way things are owned is very tricky. You know, you don't want, no high net worth individual has everything in his name. Let's just put it that way. But it's complicated the way things are owned. So sometimes people will ask me, there'll be 5 cars on the drive, and, girls especially who are naive to these things will be like, which ones are yours and which ones are Andrew's? My honest answer is I don't actually know. I have to look at the papers to work out exactly what, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The keys are in this box, in that room, and we can drive them whenever we like. And we never argue because there's so many. And when you build that abundance and you build yourself to the level of wealth me and Andrew are at, what are we going to argue about? There were times when we were kickboxing where we didn't have money for food. We used to eat cans of sardines. And there have been times splitting our last can over plain rice. Mm-hmm. So now people are like, oh, it's weird that you share a house with your brother. I'm like, it's weird that you don't. I used to share my last can of food with him, and now we can't live in the same house. I've got 9 bedrooms. It's not like we're cramped for space. And otherwise, we just live in 2 separate houses with 4.5 bedrooms each. And drive to each other's houses every day? It wouldn't make sense.
Unless you owe a moral duty to that person, by which I mean, unless that person is your mother or your father or somebody who has helped you or somebody who has coached you or somebody who has taught you, don't go around trying to fix broken people. A mentor of mine has a saying, I don't fix broken birds. And what he means by that is, if you don't succeed, the bird's going to die in your hands anyway. And if you do, it's just going to fly away. Broken people are broken people for a reason. I understand certain levels of effort if you owe them, if you have a sense of moral obligation towards them. But if you don't, then honestly, don't waste your time trying to fix broken people. There's no hope for a lot of people in the world. And a lot of people in the world are never going to make it, and they're never going to escape the mindset that keeps them in the matrix. I'd network with better people.
When I was 17, 18, I was shy. It wasn't so much with business networking because I didn't know anybody important, but I was shy to go up and talk to girls and stuff. And without the internet and without dating apps and all the little cheat codes that shy people use and men use now, they're crutches that people lean on, I just understood I'm not going to ever get laid if I don't go up and talk to that girl. So the advice I have for people who are too shy to put yourselves out there, too shy to approach women, too shy to try to, pitch a business deal to somebody important, then good, have fun staying poor and lonely. Because especially when you're young, it's not easy. And it does take some balls, but just go and do it anyway. The worst that people can do is say no. That was something in my mind, actually. People used to tell me that. Go talk to the girl. The worst you can do is say no. And that was it. Sometimes they'd say no.
Making money isn't everyone's purpose, but money makes everything about life better. I do understand people who say, oh, my goal in life isn't making money. There are other things that I like doing. And I always say, okay, tell me what those things are. Yeah. And if they say, oh, I like helping people, I say, imagine how many more people you could help if you had $100 million.
That's so
if
true.
They say, well, I just want to spend time with my family, I don't want to be slaving away and making all this money. If I have enough money to live, I just want to spend time with my family and relax and raise my kids. I'm like, imagine how much time you could spend with your family and how much time you could spend with your kids if you had $100 million.
And you give them the best life.
Yeah, so money does make everything better, but no, it isn't everyone's purpose. I get people who want to live in a small cabin in the woods and fish for their food and just, live without headache and, have a wife and have their kids and just live off the land. Yeah, I completely get that. I completely get that. I'm not going to walk up to the Bedouin people in the UAE and say, you need to make more money, bro, because they're very happy, content people. They've got their wives, they've got their kids, they've got their lifestyle, they've got their way of living, and it's very wholesome and it's very nice, and they feel richer than a lot of people here in the West.
What people need to understand is 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, women have decided whether they're going to have sex with you before the date. They really have.
Whether their legs are shaved.
Exactly. Exactly. So you spoke to her, she finds you charming. She'll think, there's a possibility I'm going to fuck this guy tonight. She'll put on her best lingerie, like she said, shave your legs, get ready. And if she's got ready, you have a very, very good chance of having sex. But there are some times where I've been talking to a girl for maybe a month and we have our second date or first date. And I'm like, this one's in the bag. And it gets to 11 o'clock and she's like, you know what? I'm going to have to get up early tomorrow. I should really get a taxi home. I'm the least pushy man. There's nothing attractive about being pushy because you don't understand her. Maybe she's on her period and she doesn't want to have sex with you. Maybe it's vulgar to a lot of guys listening or you don't want to hear, but maybe she's on her period. It's that time of the month and she thinks, I'd love to fuck Tristan, but I'm just not going to do that tonight in his house. I'd be embarrassed. I'd be ashamed. Me being pushy It's just going to undo the month of hard work that I've done being charming and being nice and being kind, because I'm not getting laid. So first circumstance, you don't go home with her. Yeah, always be a gentleman. Right. Don't worry, let me get you a taxi home. Because why would you burn the hard work you've done and not bother setting up a second date? But it's not just that. I would just rather be nice.
There was a time when me and Andrew could barely pay the rent. He was training and he was fighting full time. He was a kickboxing one-time world champion at the time. And I was selling windows. I'm a great salesman. So I was bringing home 1,000 plus British pounds per week. He didn't tell you this one, did he?
No.
Okay,
He said it was a window
He
sale.
said he sold windows, but not the one you bring in.
Yeah,
But he didn't say he was balling out, making 1,000 a week.
No, I mean, that's not balling out. Believe me, I think these 3 glasses of whiskey cost about 1,000. But I was making about 1,000 British pounds a week. Andrew had a previous sales experience. I was at the time working in sales, and Andrew was just living off his fight money. So I would come home every day. I say, I made this much sales, etc. I'll pay the rent. You keep fighting, because I was helping to support his kickboxing. One day, Andrew looks at me and he says, Tristan, I'm just going to start selling for the same company you're selling for. We can bring $2,000-$3,000 into the house a week. We'll have a good life. We'll make money. And I said, Andrew, no, you can't do that. You can't do that, because if you are spending all your time chasing sales leads and knocking on people's doors like I am, then you're never going to find the time to discover something better, to discover something that's going to take us out of this crappy apartment. It's going to take us out of this crappy life. So even back then, when I was willing to work away selling windows instead of kickbox, because I got paid almost nothing. I was the European champion at my height. Most I've ever got paid was £1,000 a fight. I knew that wasn't the financially viable option for me. I was willing to sell windows to let Andrew continue to have time to train, but also have time to think. So now everyone's like, oh, well, he's the face of this online persona, and you guys make a lot of money for it. I'm like, I'm fine behind the scenes. I'm perfectly happy. I'm not missing anything from my life with my 2 million Twitter followers. I need 6.8 million to fulfill. People will often try to, I guess, pit me against Andrew, which is the stupidest idea in the world. But they'll say stupid things to me like, your brother's more famous than you. And I'll say, yeah, my brother's more famous than you. Like, what's the big deal? If your brother were Mike Tyson, for example, and someone said your brother's a better boxer than you, you'd be like, yeah, my brother's Mike Tyson. It's this strange type of jealousy and envy that I think a lot of men can't cope with, that makes them drag each other down like crabs in a bucket. If my brother became, a billionaire, the world's richest man, and I had to stay at this level, I'd be like, yeah, my brother's the world's richest man. I'd be proud of him. And I don't see anything wrong with that. It's not a competition. We're a team.
I think it definitely becomes more difficult as you and your brother have just risen to this point of fame. Everybody wants to do business with you. Everyone wants to be associated with you, or maybe just people want to be seen with you for clout.
Yes, and another one is, and this, and I don't apologize for saying this, how rich is that person? Mm-hmm. How rich are they? How successful are they? If someone drives a Bugatti and owns tigers, like a lot of people do here, and said, Tristan, I want to meet you and your brother and talk business. I'm like, okay, this guy doesn't need to make $1 million. $1 million doesn't mean anything to this guy. Let's listen to what he says. When somebody who's flat broke says, I have an idea that will make us all a bunch of money, I'm like, you don't know what a bunch of money is. Because if I have the magic touch. Me and my brother could get involved in this broke guy's business. We could. And we could make it successful. And we could make $1 million a year. He'd make his $1 million a year. And he'd be so happy. He's got rich now because he's the business partner of the Tate brothers. I would have put time and effort into something and made less money than I sometimes make in a couple days. So how successful are they is a very big thing to do with how I make my decisions also. You know, if someone's got a bunch of money and they're already successful, good. I'll talk to them because then they want to make about an amount of money that's going to matter to them. Therefore, I'm going to make an amount of money that's going to matter to me. So yeah, at this stage, it's no brokies. I'm sorry, guys. You know, so all you young men sending me your business ideas on Instagram, do them yourself. Like, I'm not going to do your business with you. I'm just not.
Success with women is much like success in business or success in sports. It's down to you. It's personal accountability. And that's what a lot of guys want to throw out the window these days. And what they want to do is they want to blame women. Right. It's like failing in every business you've ever attempted and failing to make money, and then blaming capitalism, or failing in every boxing match or every American football game and NFL game you've ever played, and blaming the referees or blaming the rules. No, it's personal accountability and it's personal responsibility. And when you see guys out there who say like all women are garbage, I believe them. Because I believe all the women they get to meet are garbage.
Right.
Because they're bottom feeders. They're low tier men, and they're attracting low tier women. And low tier people of all sorts attract each other. Low tier men have low tier male friends, they get low tier girlfriends. And I believe the women they meet are garbage. They don't get to operate at my level, and they don't get to see how wonderful women truly are.
Right.
Because I'm picking the fruit at the top of the tree. So I think a lot of these guys need to really, really look in the mirror, as I do. And sometimes I look at myself and think, Tristan, okay, you're a little out of shape. Tristan, okay, you've been sleeping too much, you've been partying too hard, you got bags under your eyes, you're letting yourself go a bit, and you have to keep yourself in check. You have to stay at the very top, and if you don't stay at your very top, you're not competitive anymore. Every single species on the whole planet is exactly the same. Every single female of every single species looks at the most competitive males and thinks, those are the ones I want to have my children. And women, human women, are exactly the same. So if you're not having the success with women that you want, don't go out there trying to blame women, and don't go out there trying to change women. There are these big movements
They're not
trying
gonna
to
change.
Yeah, they're trying to change women.
22-year-old guys watching this, how can I get better in fashion? What tips could you give them?
Oh, there's one tip. There's one tip that overrules absolutely everything. Be in shape. The person who makes my suits, the same person who makes the suits of King Charles of England. Now, I have nothing bad really to say about King Charles, but he looks worse in his suits than I look in my suits. They're made by the same people. Why? Because I'm in good shape. A suit is all about how it fits you. It's not about, I have to be Tristan Tate, I'm going to go to Savile Row in London and I'm going to buy a $10,000 suit. No, get into good shape, buy a Hugo Boss suit, for a couple $100, maybe $1,000, you could put one together. Have your mother, have someone you know with a sewing machine, taper it in a little bit at the sides, make sure that the leg is the exact right length. But if you are shaped like a man in good shape, the suit's going to look good on you. There's no way you can be obese, lazy, out of shape individual and go to my tailor and come out of my tailor shop, regardless of how much you spend, looking like me. Be in shape is the #1 fashion advice I give to anyone. It's the old Versace t-shirt, on a big fat guy versus just a plain $5 t-shirt on a guy who's in decent shape. That's my advice to young men. Be in good shape and buy clothes that fit you. That overrules absolutely every single fashion rule that anyone could give. It's very interesting to think that the first man ever banned from discussion in UK public schools is Andrew Tate. Adolf Hitler, you were allowed to talk about him during World War II and after World War II. The leader of Argentina during the Falklands War, Osama bin Laden after 9/11. Terrorists, school shooters, the 7/7 bombers who attacked the subway in London. You were allowed to discuss all these people in school. The first man ever to be banned is a mixed race, a half-black kid from the projects who came up out of the projects and became a multimillionaire. Maybe they just want the working class to stay the working class. Maybe they don't want people like him opening his mouth. Maybe it's because he joked that men are better drivers than women, and he's a misogynist. I don't think it's the third option. I think it's either option 1 or option 2. I think he's dangerous to what people want to purport on the society.
I'm not really one to feel sorry for people that much because of the way that the internet has changed the world. I believe that people have positive role models and examples thrown in their face all the time. I feel like to sit back and say, oh, well, I'm just a video game porn addicted playing, guy with no muscles and no physique and no physicality. Oh, well, it's because I haven't got a positive role model. I feel like today isn't an excuse. I feel like that every single second that you're scrolling on your phone or looking at Instagram, etc., there are dudes out there, even so much as selling little coaching calls or courses or, who you'd want to be like. But it's easy. It's easier to sit around and play video games and masturbate than it is to get the money to buy real supercars and seduce beautiful women in the real world. It is much easier. And because it's easier, I feel like a lot of people don't want to weigh out. So I don't need to give them advice. I feel like the advice is out there. If you're watching this and that describes you, good. At least you're listening to people with a healthy mindset who maybe can inspire you a little bit to try to be like that. But the type of person who really needs this advice and isn't going to get it is never going to watch this podcast. They're not going to look at the photo of you there with your shoulders, etc., standing next to me with all my whatever car I'm next to and think, I'm going to listen to these two. So those people aren't watching. So we don't need to worry about them, you know?
Different things work for different people. I think for that, as long as you're playing to your strengths, that's what you should do. I mean, there are people, let's take Floyd Mayweather. I've heard people laugh at Floyd Mayweather. They'll be like, oh, Floyd Mayweather, he can't even read and write properly. And I'm like, well, he became a billionaire. Still, so how dumb is he? If you're broke, saying, "Oh, Floyd Mayweather can't read or write," and he became a billionaire through not just fighting, but obviously owning his own promotions company. Again, it's intellect applied to the real world. Does he have the same type of intellect as Elon Musk? No. Albert Einstein that once said, if you measure all the animals' intellect by their ability to climb trees, you'll have a goldfish in a bowl who will sit and believe his whole life that he's an idiot. You're measuring people on different
with
things.
the wrong test.
Yeah, so I mean, people like Floyd Mayweather, again, it's intellect applied to the real world. So how is he not smarter than some brokey sitting at home being like, Floyd Mayweather's dumb?
I am building a castle in Romania, about 900 meters away from Dracula's historic castle, up on the hillside behind him. And the reason I'm building that castle is because I think that rich people are boring. Rich people are boring. Rich people want to go to the ski slopes, hire a bunch of hookers, sniff a bunch of cocaine, sit on a boat with a bunch of cocaine and a bunch of hookers. And I don't understand why they all do the same thing. I have decided to build a Gothic castle in the heart of Transylvania because I want a castle. Doesn't every boy want a castle? You know, that part of me never died. I have the money, I have the means to do it, so I am building a castle. Now, this question specifically is somebody asking, why don't I make my castle a hotel? And I'm going to answer you exactly why I don't. One reason is I promised the local mayor that I wouldn't. There are lots of hotels around the area of Dracula's castle. It's a small village of a population of only 5,000, and the local people run their hotels and they control the tourism and the commerce. I have promised not to make my castle a hotel because I don't want to take any business or any money away from the local people. But two, and most importantly, get your own fucking castle. Oh, you want me to make it a hotel so I can spend $15 million in 4 years of stress building an epic castle, and for a few $100 a night, you could come along and run around it and take your Instagram pictures. No access. Get your own. I'm going to have armed guards armed with crossbows in full armor patrolling the castle walls with rabid dogs inside ready to tear intruders apart. It is mine. That's why I don't want to make it into a hotel, because I don't need anyone's fucking money. I don't need $1,000 a night, $2,000 a night. Oh, you want to have your wedding there? You want to shoot a music video there? How about build your own castle? Because mine is for me. I want to walk around butt naked, swirling a huge glass of brandy with 5 vampire girls all dressed up with their fangs on and shit. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't even know what I'm going to do. But I'm going to do it, not you. So no, my castle is not going to become a hotel.
Yeah, don't let them hold you back. Don't let them hold you back. I have friends that could hold me back, even today, but I don't let them. I have friends where if I hung around with them every day, I would not be in the position that I am in. I've certainly had women in relationships where if I did whatever she wanted, I would not be where I am today. You know, even little things. Sometimes you wake up at 7 a.m., you want to be in the gym by 8. She starts, reaching down your pants and stuff. It's just like, sometimes just get up, say no, hit the gym, have your shower, tell her you'll see her tonight and get to work. As opposed to, okay, all right, fine. One more round, then it's 8 o'clock, then a little nap, then it's 10, then it's, oh, do you want breakfast? Oh yeah, I'd love it if you make me breakfast. Then it's 11, nothing productive has happened. Exactly. You have to be the man in your relationship. And if you're the man, you do what needs to be done, not necessarily what you want to do. So I'm not saying you have to break up with your girlfriend. I'm saying you have to change the dynamic. She's not the boss of you, even when things are pleasurable and nice. Because believe me, if I could be in the exact same physical condition, in the exact same financial condition, and all I had to do was lay around on my couch with beautiful women watching Netflix and getting blowjobs, believe me, I'd do that. But you can't. No. That isn't an option. So, don't let your girlfriend make you feel too comfortable. And just don't fall into the trap of enjoying it too much and enjoying the pleasure too much. Make room in your life for the discomfort.
Your special gift is you've mastered the art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
So what is that all about?
Well, I'd say it's not giving a fuck in the way that, because I know people who don't give a fuck. Their life sucks. They don't work out. They don't care about their own health, happiness, wealth, work. Not in a degenerate, I'm a bum kind of way. I'll give you a better example, because I know exactly what he means. I feel like, because I am his younger brother, every great general who sits at a table with his staff needs that one fearless guy with him. You know, he needs people who preach prudence and being careful, and we have those people, believe me. They're very, very loud in our ears every single day since getting out of jail. But, you know, if you're a great samurai general and you're sitting around the table, you also need that one guy who says, okay, there's 10,000 of them, there's 5 of us, okay, let's just go. It's more fearlessness than not giving a fuck. If I had played things my way since getting out of jail, me and Andrew would probably be back in jail right now. I'm censoring myself on this podcast, but the first day I got out, I thought, you know what, screw it, let me just put a camera on, just tell the whole world what's going on, let them take me away live on stream. That's me. So luckily he keeps me in check, but also I feel like I can inspire him to make a few bolder and braver decisions in life because of my counsel. So I'm very much one of his councilmen, but he does need me at the table. Without that guy, you're just gonna be a pussy, you know?
When I was young and flat broke, because people will say, oh, you pay for the Ubers, or maybe I'll even get a girl a flight ticket to come to Bucharest, to come to my house and see me. And people will say that's simping. I'm like, well, you know, for the price of the flight ticket, you don't know what I'm getting. But when I was young and broke, there was obviously no gold digging involved. I didn't have, I slept on a mattress on the floor. But if a girl was coming around to see me at night, I'd pay for her taxi. My last 5, 6, 7 pounds, because, you know, it's 7 pounds and I get 8 hours of entertainment. So again, it's a very fair exchange of value. And I think that if you want to act tough and, you know, hold frame and ask a girl to split a bill, or, you know, make a girl pay for her own taxi and don't even offer, if she does go to bed with you, she's a low quality woman. She's just some dickhead hoe who would do anything for dick. And, you know, some guys may get laid that way, but you certainly wouldn't with the quality of women that I hang out with.
Have you got any advice for 21-year-olds who, I guess, seem pretty lost and they don't really know which direction to go in? What would you offer to those guys in terms of advice?
Oh, I've got loads of pieces of advice. Loads. If you don't know what to do, don't go to university. That's the first thing. If you know what you want to do and you need a university degree to do it, then obviously pursue that. If you don't know what you want to do, going to university is going to burn 3 or 4 years of your time and likely get you into a bunch of debt and a bunch of trouble that you don't need. If you don't know what you're doing, avoid university. Step number 1. 2, young men who are lost. What can I say? Don't waste...
Yeah, don't waste time.
Yeah, don't waste time on frivolous pursuits. Stop trying to live like the man unless you've actually become the man first. And that means women. Stop trying to get laid all the time and get beautiful women. Because if you are a nobody, the time and effort it's going to take into convincing a really beautiful woman to go to bed with you is much less time than it would take me or Mike. Because we are a somebody already. So you're burning your hours. Yeah, don't chase women too much. Don't chase having fun too much. Don't chase clout too much. Don't try to be seen in cool places that you can't actually afford to be in. You know, Dubai is actually a very interesting example of this. I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here, but that's all good advice. It's simple. Dubai is a very good example of this because Dubai is a place where people can look like they're doing something big when they're doing absolutely nothing at all. There are hotels in Dubai, like the hotels I stay at, that are 1, 2, 3 grand a day, 10 grand a day. They do exist. And there are also hotels in Dubai up near the old town where, you know, the laborers and the workers stay that cost $35, $40, $50 a day. That does happen. You could fly to Dubai, and people do this, men do this, with no money, because men don't have the ability to just, you know, hit dating apps in Dubai and live the good life. They come to Dubai with their friends. They have no money in their pockets. They have a nice shirt that they'll wear, fine, and they'll take a taxi from their really cheap hotel down to downtown, picture in front of the Burj Khalifa, click, picture in front of a Lamborghini, click. Now they're a guy with a picture in front of a Lamborghini in Dubai. They're a guy who hangs out in Dubai now. He's at the Burj Khalifa. He makes less than $1,000 a month, probably. You know, people do this. They literally clout chase based on location. And that is the biggest waste of time that I've ever heard of. You know, go on a vacation within your budget and have fun with your friends, by all means, and take your mind off trying to be somebody. But yeah, people pretend too hard today. And the effort it takes to pretend short term will make you look richer or cooler or more successful than you are. But if you take all the time that you spend pretending and actually invest it into trying to become what you're pretending to be, you'll get there. But it will take, again, 3, 4, 5 years, and people don't want to do it.
Dubai has everything. It's a wonderful place. The United Arab Emirates is a wonderful place. And Saudi Arabia has opened up recently. And give it 5, 6, 7 years, they've got the money. Saudi Arabia is going to have nice, clean, beautiful, pretty, safe cities that every millionaire or billionaire in the world can enjoy. And they can go there and enjoy the amenities and live their life without the threat of some psychopath on the subway trying to attack you. And then if you defend yourself, what happens to you? Maybe 20 years, we're about to find out. In 2 cases. It's sickening. So I think that and I'll give the credit to religion. I'll give the credit to the Islamic faith. They don't want that bullshit in their country. They don't want their kids being taught immorality in the schools. So if you want to have kids and you're a very busy man, maybe your wife's very busy too, and you want a comfortable environment where you know that your kids can go to school and learn things like math and history and geography. I know, crazy, right? Without drag queens reading stories to them, you can go to the Middle East and be assured of what's happening to your children, to your family, in your home, on your streets. I get the massive push. I get it. And there are different places in the world, like America was, hopefully will be again, but certainly was in the 70s and 80s, when people from even this country right here, which was a shithole back then, wanted to go to America, see the Statue of Liberty, come across on a boat, start a new life for themselves, live the American dream. I feel like the dream of the West is dying. And people are just like, well, where can I live the dream? What's the dream? Nice, happy life, beautiful wife, healthy kids, good healthcare, safe, schools are fine, mass crime doesn't exist, drug use isn't prevalent. It's crazy that that's now the dream, isn't it? Isn't it sad what's happened? So the jail experience, it wasn't good, but it was interesting. And I took jail in a very strange way. I feel like if you're gonna walk around the world running your mouth all the time about what you are and what you think you are, eventually something's gonna come along in the world and test you. If you walk around saying I'm the baddest man on the planet, I can beat anyone up on earth. One day someone in the street is gonna be like, you're the guy who thinks he can beat anyone up and punch your lights out. You know, I don't speak as much as Andrew, but I do say I'm a very strong-minded person. I always preach to young men, if you're going through hardships, you need to deal with it like a man, continue your training, stay focused. And it just felt like God gave me an opportunity to prove to myself, above all else, as well as to everyone else who listens to me, that I am actually what I say I am. So coming out of jail, I'm almost grateful for the experience, as hellish as the environment was.
As hellish as the environment was, you were grateful for it.
Yeah, I'm grateful that my life has been very, very easy for the last 6 or 7 years. I retired from professional fighting when I was 28. The last sad thing that I guess happened to me was my father passing when I was 26 and a half. So I'm 34 now, I'm coming up 35. These things happened a very long time ago. I've increased in wealth, I've increased in fame. I fly around the world doing whatever I like, driving whatever car I like, staying wherever I like, sleeping wherever I like, going, it's been such an amazing experience that I haven't tested myself for real in a very long time. So yeah, grateful for the experience.
Everything I've talked about, over the last few months and years, getting in shape, going out there and making money, being smarter, being more intelligent, dealing with people better, handling your relationships better, isn't something that you can learn from me. It's simply me telling you to work on yourself in certain ways. And so many millions of people have written me and my brother and told us about the positive impacts that we've had on their lives. And we really appreciate that. So this is a statement that my brother has sent me that he'd like me to read out to end this cigar meeting live. Millions of people never analyze themselves. Mentally, they are mechanical products of the factory of their environment, preoccupied with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, working and sleeping, and going here and there to be entertained. They don't know what or why they are seeking, nor why they never realize complete happiness and lasting satisfaction. By evading self-analysis, people go on being robots, conditioned by their environment. True self-analysis is the greatest art of progress.
I don't think I found my purpose in life until I was 32. So I feel like my purpose in life now is to set a good example for young men in a world that doesn't have any good examples. But I don't think everyone is going to reach that level of enlightenment with their mission. Mm-hmm. And I don't think everyone should, because when I was 28, when I was 29, I was very happy. I was perfectly happy, having not found what my purpose in life is. And you know what? I may think I know my purpose in life now. When I'm 40, I may realize it was actually something else and find something else. No, I don't believe life has to be a purpose. I just believe in making sure that you are happy and making sure that that happiness is spread as much as possible to the people you interact with and the people around you. That is a way to live a fulfilling life. You don't have to have a mission to live a fulfilling life, or a purpose. You know, you could live, you know, basically by yourself your whole life. But if you really enjoy yourself and you really enjoy this trip around the sun that we're all taking, and everywhere you go, you're polite and you're nice and you're kind, who cares that you didn't impact the world? You know, you don't need a purpose.
And yeah, to use a very famous slogan, I really hope that somebody can make America great again. It's a very good slogan, but even I haven't liked the United States in a long time. I go to the United States, I feel unsafe. I feel unsafe walking around the streets. I see the pandemic of homelessness and drug use, and I'm like, how is this the capital? How is this the capital of the free world? I look at the leadership. It just makes me sick on every level. So yeah, the Middle East is the place to be for now. Maybe one day in 20 years' time, America will be the place to be again. And as an American citizen, I'm hopeful for the United States. I am hopeful for it. But it's people like you who are fighting the good fight, so I appreciate you a lot. And there are very few men who I'll ever meet who I'll say I admire you or I'm a fan of yours, but I will say that to your face right now on camera.
Well, I appreciate it.
I admire you a lot.
Have you always played the number 2 role? Like, you know, in monarchical times, it was always the eldest son that was passed down to the crown. From your father down to Andrew to you, has it always been an understanding, all right, I'm number 2, my brother's the leader, let me get in line, let's crush it?
You know what, I don't feel it's necessarily like that. I feel it's more that I know what his strengths are, and I'm there to compensate for his weaknesses. He knows what my strengths are, and I'm there to compensate for his weaknesses. So who's the leader and who's not all depends on the situation that we're in. Certainly me and Andrew have been a team a very long time, and we made a lot of money before we ever blew up on the internet. Our relationship was a lot more equal then, but Andrew is the famous one. I'm fully aware that he's the guy who will go in front of the camera and say the types of things or voice his opinions in a way that garner infamy and fame. And I've blown up alongside it.
I don't know what it was about us that made us prioritize our friendship and prioritize being brothers above prioritizing relationships with women. Every woman who's ever been in my life and the women that are in my life now know that there is no choice between me and them. Mm-hmm. You know, if a girl was on my house at my house once on like a 4th date or 5th date, and she said, "I don't like your brother." I said, "That's a very strange thing to say. Why would you say that?" "I don't know. He seems rude. I just don't like him. I've watched him on the internet. I don't like your brother." I said, "Well, that's unfortunate because this house is half my brother's house, and he didn't pay millions of dollars for this house for people who don't like him to sit in it. So you've got to go." "Oh, but this is your house too. So get the fuck out." Like I will prioritize my friendship and my relationship with my brother above any woman. And I feel like that may be our superpower.
I think that some guys, a lot of guys actually in the space, have an unhealthy idea of what simping versus being a gentleman is, and the value of taking the masculine role as a gentleman, as opposed to looking insecure by not.
I think, yeah, they see guys like me or you or Andrew as bad guys because they have nothing to give a woman but loyalty. So they'll look at guys who have multiple women like me and they'll think Tristan's a bad guy. Women like bad guys. And they do. They like top tier guys, and top tier guys tend to like having more than one woman, but women don't like rude guys. There's no universal, I could probably pull it off if I wanted to, but I wouldn't go on a date and not say much, sit on my phone, be rude, walk in front of her, make her split the check, and expect her to come home and make love at the end of the night. No. That certainly is going to hinder my chances. And that's the whole point of going on a date. So it's just a lack of understanding of what it's like to be a top tier male. So anytime anyone says any stupid comment like that to you, "Oh, the Tates wouldn't open doors," or "Why are you opening doors? That's simping," that guy doesn't get laid. You know he doesn't.
The separation of the nuclear family gives the state the ability to raise your kids. And my brother's probably touched on this. The moment there's no father at home, the moment the mother's busy working, not at home cooking meals and raising the kids and reading books to them like my mother was, then who's raising your kids? The school, the internet, the television, whatever ideas we put on those are the ideas the kids are going to grow up with. We don't want dad out working and mom at home with the kids 24/7. No. The mother of my kids, call me sexist if you want, never has to work again. She can have passions. She can have interests. She wants to learn the violin, the piano, dance, ballet. She's a former gymnast, one of them. Go and do this. Good. You do what you enjoy. Don't worry about the money. I'll make the money. Pursue your passions because I want you at home with the kid. That's what I want. And people call me a misogynist and they call me sexist for it. Why? I've chosen her. She's obviously a good woman. I want her raising my daughter. I don't want her in a daycare with God knows who. Luckily in Romania, I'm relatively safe from that, but I mean, I've seen some questionable people working in your daycares in the United States, and it makes me very worried.
If you're 18, 19, and you try to get a loan, you can't get one. University has a monopoly on this. So if you're in the United Kingdom, and this is very, very sad, and you are 18 years of age, and you go to a bank with a great plan, you say, I am going to start a business. My name's Tristan Tate, I'm 18 years old, the bank's already not interested. But let's say they even heard you out, and you had a nice, solid business plan. It said, I need £30,000. I'm going to start this business. It's going to become a successful company in my town. Eventually, I'm going to expand to London. I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25. This is my business plan. Can I have £30,000? No. It will be no 100% of the time. If you're an 18-year-old kid and you say, hey, I want to be a pilot. I don't want to join the military and fight your bullshit wars that you want us all to fight to get a pilot's license. Plus, a lot of pilots, they want you to go to university first nowadays. But regardless, I want to be a pilot. Can I borrow £30,000? I need this many hours of flying time at this airfield on these aircraft. If I complete all these various hours, I'll have a pilot's license by the time I'm 21. Then I want to apply to work for airlines. Can I borrow some money, Mr. Banker? No. Hi, I don't really know what I want to do with life. I'm 18. Don't really know what I want to do. So I'm going to study business, economics. Oh, here's your check for 60 grand, 70 grand. Ching, ching. Here you go. Enjoy paying it back one day. They have a monopoly on the borrowing power of young people. And I don't believe that if the battlefield was fair and amounts of money were offered for things like pilots licenses, for things like business idea startups, I feel like if the borrowing power of young people was not concentrated and monopolized by university, young people could flourish so much better and so much more.
I would say that the world has become much harder in lots of ways, but it's also become much easier in lots of ways. I mean, me and Andrew have programs like The Real World, the online educational platform. That,
18 ways?
Yeah, 18 different millionaires teaching 18 different wealth creation methods.
Wow.
And there's a health and fitness professor in the group as well. So there's so many resources, I think, at hand for younger people. Not just resources that I have. The internet as a whole is a resource that I didn't have when I was young. The internet was very new when I was young. I mean, I was still trying to make money in sales by making phone calls through phone books and stuff. So I feel like the world is a lot easier if you're willing to do the work and apply yourself and use the tools available to you. I think that we live in an amazing new world full of, new opportunities and new ways of getting information and applying information. Just take advantage of it. It's the silver lining. Don't waste all your time on social media. Don't sit there scrolling on TikTok. If you were to tell someone in the 1950s, I have a device, it's 2023, and there's a device in my hand, and almost all of human knowledge is contained within this device.
Yeah.
I could find out anything. I could learn anything from this device. Do you think that man from the 1950s would use it to look at photos of cats or whatever people do on TikTok?
That's
or
true,
look at girls pretending to eat digital ice cream? My point is, it's what tools do you have? You have so many more tools than I had when I was younger. I'm not even that old yet. But take advantage of it and don't be distracted by the poison that can be propagated by the same methods. Don't be distracted by TikTok. Don't be distracted by pornography. Stay away from all of that garbage and use the tools at your disposal. And it's surprisingly easy to be successful if you do that.
Here's why female body counts matter. Because I believe a woman with a high body count is not capable of loving you and respecting you and appreciating you as much as a woman with a low body count. And as we know, love and respect and appreciation goes both ways. If a woman really loves, respects, and appreciates you, you can really love, respect, and appreciate her back, because that's what we look for in women: love, appreciation, and respect. Now, when I say women with high body counts aren't capable, I really do mean it. So I'm going to give you an analogy that I made up, because I made it up 2 days ago, and I'm sure you've never heard before. I'm going to talk to you about a friend of mine. His name is Alex. He's my personal trainer and my physiotherapist. Alex doesn't drink. Almost never. He's got six-pack abs. He walks around looking good all the time. Doesn't like alcohol. Doesn't drink alcohol.
knows alcohol's bad for his health. The other night, I was celebrating a very big business milestone that myself and my brother had passed. And without saying anything, Alex was sitting there with us, slamming shots of tequila all night. And I thought, you know what? Alex is proud of me, and Alex appreciates my friendship, and he is really genuinely happy for my success. The fact that this guy, who doesn't drink, is sitting here drinking vodka shots with me and my scumbag friends means a lot to me. It's special. He's doing something he doesn't normally do to show his appreciation for me. That's a good friend. Now let's imagine there's another guy who gets drunk every day by himself, will drink a bottle of vodka. If anyone in any bar, in any pub offers him a drink, he'll take it and sit there and drink with them. A homeless dude, for example. And I somehow convince this homeless guy to come and celebrate my business milestone with me. And he's sitting there slamming my tequila. Why is that less meaningful? I know he doesn't appreciate me, respect me, care about me as much as a real friend. Because this guy will drink with anybody. Do you see where I'm going here? I hope you do. If a woman has had one serious boyfriend in her life, say she's 21 years of age, and has a body count of 1, which I think is very low, and you were to meet her at 21, if you charm her, wine and dine her, seduce her, make her really feel something for you, there's a good chance she'll be your girlfriend. She'll have sex with you. And you may well end up getting married and bearing children and all the beautiful things that come with, male-female relationships. However, if you meet a girl who's 21 who has a body count of 300, sure, she'll fuck you. But that sex doesn't mean she cares about you. It doesn't mean she appreciates you. It doesn't mean she respects you. In fact, it's meaningless because it's not you that makes her do it. It's the sex. Just like it's the drink that will make the homeless man accept my invite, not my achievements. So be very careful of women with very high body counts. Be very careful of women who say that it doesn't matter, because I feel like they can't appreciate and love and respect a man in the same way that a woman with a low body count can. So I have met loads of women with high body counts, and I've slept with plenty of them. I'm not going to pretend I haven't, and so have many of you watching at home. But to all the women out there who do have high body counts, let me tell you something. Before you start saying, Tristan Tate, oh, he's just a fuckboy, or this guy's just a fuckboy, or this guy, he just uses women. You allowed yourself to be used by every single person in your hometown. Nobody is going to treat you, even the man who wants a family and wants a serious relationship and wants love and wants the real deal. He's not going to treat you the same way because of the way you've treated yourself. It's nothing to do with how men are behaving towards you. It's how you've behaved towards yourself.
And it's not so much competition against each other in terms of what I can do and he can. It's more like, how much am I going to contribute to the team that you don't? So a perfect example, this house is set up literally perfect for it. I'll come down in the morning, 7 a.m. Andrew's at his laptop. We'll go there's an exercise we hate doing. You put 30 kilograms on a burpee bar, on a weight bar. You do a burpee, lift it above your head, and you do it 150 times. It's tiring, it's horrible. So I'll do them and I'll say, Andrew, you're a pussy. Why haven't you done them yet? Then he'll do them. And then I'll go do them again, just because. I know if I do them, he has to do them. That's not, people can see it as two men competing against each other, or you can see it as two men within the same house getting stronger and pushing each other to become stronger. When we're racing around racetracks, we're both, I guess, professionally trained drivers. We have lots of track experience, lots of road experience. The fact that he will drive faster than me will inspire me to do better in myself. Then me and my brother as a team are better drivers. It's not two men competing against each other. It's us against the world, but that's something that happened very organically. And he's always been the better kickboxer. I'm bigger maybe I'm probably fatter, but I've certainly got more muscle as well. But people see me smash the pads, and amateurs, like a girl I knew once said, "Oh wow, you hit the pad so hard. Can you beat Andrew in a fight?" I'm like, no. When I try to punch Andrew, I punch nothing. I hit air, and he ends up counterpunching. So he's always been the better kickboxer. But I could take that and be like, you know what? Good. He's the 4-time world champion. Good. That's my brother, and just be proud. it's us against the world.
And being a gentleman is very, very important. There doesn't have to be a winner. When you're going on a date with a woman and you're looking to sleep with her and she's looking to have a good time, you could both go home happy. You really can. You don't have to feel like you defeated her somehow or you tricked her somehow, and she doesn't need to feel like she used you somehow.
Right.
You can have a wonderful evening. You're nice to her. You open the car doors. You know, you buy her a bouquet of flowers. You have dinner. You make love. You go home. She's happy. You're happy. Then you could delete her phone number if you want, but
Yeehaw.
doesn't need to be a winner.
Trying to sleep with as many women as possible would be saying something like, I want to eat as much food as possible. So you're at these all-you-can-eat buffets all day long, wasting your time sitting there. But well, it's actually better to visit 3 or 4 really exquisite 5-star restaurants per week, as opposed to spending all day at the all-you-can-eat buffet. It's just better for your mind, for your body, for everything. So, you know, not to correlate women in buffets, but you get what I mean. The sleep with as many women as possible. It can be fun for a summer, but yeah, the sooner you get over it, the sooner you can concentrate on what's really important. And when you are the guy, like you or like me, and you reach a certain level, the good women will naturally find you. You don't have to spend all day chasing women.
Yeah.
You know, there are women in your inbox waiting, like at any time.
And once again, you know, there's not a single, okay, there are, but you know, there aren't many of my exes that I couldn't get back with if I tried.
Right.
And I see them
boomerang. They do come back.
And I see them watch my Instagram stories, and as you increase your value and status and influence as a man, and you know, their value, status, and influence goes down as a woman,
Right.
they watch you. And I'm gonna digress. There is a way to get revenge on women. Every time I've heard anyone say, "Oh, my ex broke up with me. She cheated on me. I need revenge. I need revenge." That's sick-minded. That's incel level shit. The only kind of revenge that you can get on a woman is this:
Ever.
say goodbye politely, keep working hard, increase your value as a man. Wait 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 11 years, and you know this story, the 11-year story. And wait till you are the man, and she's just now some chick, 28, 29, and she's like, Tristan, you know, it should have always been you. Then you can either tell her no or break her heart again. Then you win. That's the only way to get revenge. You gotta keep working on yourself and keep working on your status.
It truly is.
You know, it's always been the way me and Andrew are, and we've shared in our successes. The first time he became a millionaire, we celebrated. When I became a millionaire, we celebrated. When you know, we bought our first supercar, we drove that home from the dealership together. So every single positive moment in my life, the first time we ever chartered a private jet, I remember we were just happy, drinking, having a great time on the plane. This is before he reverted, before anybody jumps on that drinking reference. But if you want to take all the good moments from having a relationship, a brotherly relationship like me and Andrew have, and then he becomes the world's most Googled man, one of the most influential men, I guess, in the world. And by default, he's attacked by the Matrix in a way that ends up with him being thrown in prison. I feel like I'd be more mad if I didn't go to prison with him. I'd feel like, you know, I've taken all the good from being associated with Andrew, and, you know, he builds me up and I build him up. And for him to be sitting in jail without me, it would just feel wrong. So I'm not even mad about it. I'm the opposite of mad about it. I'm glad they roped me in with it. I'm glad they said guilty by association. I'm glad they throw me in jail with him. And if they frame him for real and send him back, they better send me back too, or I'll break myself in.
If you just focus on yourself, your business, your career, the women will just come eventually.
That is the truest thing in the world. But the thing is, the sad part is, it's 5 years of work.
Yeah.
At least 5 years of work. And nobody wants to do the work. It's like getting into shape, as I'm sure you know. It's, you know, when guys are, you know, fat and they're like, oh, well, you get women because you're in shape. It's like, well, you could be in shape, but it's for you, it's 2 years. It's 3 years, you know? Are you willing to do that? The same is with your finances, the same with your mindset, the same with lots of things. So yeah, if you do the work, the women do naturally come to you, but it's years of work, and everyone wants a quick fix nowadays. Everyone wants a magic pill or a magic spell or a magic trick, and there are none.
And this is a misconception. My haters will say stupid things to me like, oh yeah, enjoy jail, don't drop the soap. I'm like, jail works the same way all around the world. And it works in this following way. When the 6'4", 17 stone, it's about 107 kilogram man walks into the jail cell, they don't think, let's fuck with this guy. They think, I hope this guy isn't gonna fuck with me. You know what I mean?
True.
So if you show people respect, someone like me who's capable and can defend himself and stand up for himself is always gonna be fine. And I think in most jails in the world.
And I feel women respect you a lot more when you don't give them all the time that they'd want. They respect you a lot more. No, I'm not gonna, no, it's 7 a.m. Get your hand off my dick. I've got to get up and go to work. It's 5 degrees outside. I've got to get into the office. So I am leaving. You know, there's more of that. Wow, he's the man. You know, because very few men are made out of that kind of material. So you do have to. It earns the respect of women too. And if you're busy all the time, but they know you're legitimately busy, legitimately working, legitimately making millions of dollars, you know, there's a level of respect that you know I'll get from women that you won't by laying in bed with her for an extra 3 hours.